pattern pieces on an avatar so I can see what it looks like, what I have developed. But before I do that, I'm just going to get rid of all the seams that were there, because there will be seams from darts, and also we've changed so much, so we just want to get rid of all the sewing that was there. So I'm just going to highlight it all and go backspace and get rid of it. Now nothing has been stitched together. Then also what I want to do is I want to reset the interface, and I can now see my top looking a bit different than when I started out. And what I'm going to do first is I'm going to use my transform pattern tool, highlight the whole thing in the 2D window and move it up so it's not going to interfere with when I now add my avatar to the scene. So I've got this avatar, this size says 3840. I'm going to add to workspace, and it asks, what do you want? Yes, I want to add it there. Just on 0, 0, so it's straight in the frame. And I'm going to maintain for now. And now I want to place the clothes on the avatar, but I would like to just quickly have a look at the size 3840, what that means. I'm going to close my library, and on the avatar, go to avatar editor. And here I can see all the measurements for the avatar. She's 170 tall. She's got a bust circumference of 91. And I can see a lot of other measurements here. And I'm not going to go into really all deep details. The most important is the bust circumference, the waist, and the hip for now. Now we're talking about standard sizes, like what the industry uses, standard average sizes that most people don't fit into, but this is what we're going with. So the bust circumference of a standard 38, which would match the top I had, is for a Danish woman 88. And the waist is 69, which we have here as well, and the hip would be 96. Again, average standard sizes. Okay, so I've just changed those few things, so I know she fits the clothes I'm going to put onto that. And I'm going to close the avatar editor by clicking that little cross. Okay. Now I want to place these parts here on her body, and here under my avatar toggle bar here I can see this little blue dot indicating, well, show avatar. Yes, we can see her. And the next one is to show arrangement points, and this is what I'm looking for now. And it's also Shift F, which is a really good shortcut to know as well. So I'm click here, and these little blue dots are kind of magnetic, so they will help me place the pattern pieces on the avatar. So I'll show how that's done. So I like often to go by clicking on my 2D window and then clicking where I want to place it on the 3D window like that. And now we can see actually that it's placing, because this is a symmetric pattern, so it places both front pieces at once, and they're slightly overlapping because we made it much bigger than it was before. And if this is not in the right place here where I placed it, I can take this one here that's active and move it down a little bit. And the same goes for, I could move this one a little bit. Now these are the two front parts. I'm going to show how it's placed it with a little sort of bit of air in between. Okay. Now I want to place the back part, but I can swirl it around using the mouse and holding my right finger down, and then place it like here. Place it like that. Or what I could also do, I could have pressed 8, then I get the back. I really like the numbers. So 2 is absolute front. Also, if you get lost sometime, in the beginning it might be difficult with the mouse with all the wheels and what I can do. So you always 2, you're back to front, straight where you need to be, and 8 is at the back. So I'm going to place the back now here. And again, you can see they're on top of each other. I can just move them out a little bit from each other so they don't collide as much. They don't have a tendency to collide once they will be simulated. So now I have front and back like that. Because the top here is quite baggy, we might want to move our arms out before we do anything else now. So in order to do that, simulation has to be used, and that means that these things will drop unless we click shift down and then right click and say freeze. Then they will not fall down once we get her change her pose and have the arms out from her side. But I need to, if I don't stitch this together, it will drop as well when we do the pose. So I could of course freeze it as well, but for now I think I'll just stitch it together, and I'll do it by using my tool up here. Just we used the edge sewing tool before, and right underneath it we have the segment sewing. These are just for really straight lines, needs to be sewn together. So this is fine for this job I'm doing now. So I need to stitch this shoulder together with this, and I'm clicking near the neck and near the neck, because then I know it's the right direction and it hasn't been crossed, and I can also check there's no crossing of seams here. And I am clicking near the sleeve hole, and I'm clicking near the sleeve hole. See, if I don't, you see there's a cross will appear. So it's very easy, it just helps you. You just click there and then you have your next seam. Then what I would like to do here as well is that I would like to also do my back together, and let's do the front as well, all the way over here. Then we can always figure out where we want the opening, so you can actually get into the top. There we are. So now these things have been stitched. We haven't done the sleeves yet, but this is simply because we need to move her arms out a bit. So now I can simulate, and it's hanging here on top of her shoulders. I stop the simulation, and I will actually also just get rid of the side seams. Simulate that so they fall down here underneath. And then now I'm going to go to my library, going to go to avatar, double click, I'm going to go to female, I'm going to go to poses, and then I'm going to find this one here. This is what I want. I want her to have her arms out so we can easily put her sleeves on. So I'm going to say pose only, yes, 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 it's fine, I want that. Now she's got it out here, and now it's easier for us to put the sleeves on. I'm going to close my library again, and I'm going to stitch the side seam again. I can simulate it so that's in place, and I am going to click on my sleeves and I'm going to unfreeze them. Now what I want to do, I want to get back to my arrangement points, so that was Shift F, or under the avatar here, show arrangement points, Shift F. Now they're back here again. What I want to do now, I'm going to turn her around so I see her from the side. Again, here you can actually use the numbers. So 6 is from her left side, as 4 is from her right side. But you can also just swirl her around like that. And I would like to place this sleeve here on her arm. And the thing is, it will automatically be done because we've asked it to be done simultaneously. Okay, now before I do anything else, I also need to stitch my sleeve. So I'll start out with the segment sewing and do the underarm here, and now instead of this segment I want to use the one called free sewing. I'm going to click on this and then I'm going to sew from underneath the sleeve and up to the shoulder point, and from this underneath the arm and up to the shoulder. I'm going to do the same here on the back, underneath the arm up to the shoulder, under the arm and up, and you can see I get a little blue dot. This is where it's the accurate fit, but on a sleeve you do always have a little bit extra, so you go all the way up to the top point of the sleeve head. Now this has been sewn together as well, and now what we can do, we can get rid of the arrangement points and we can simulate so the sleeves are back in place now where they should be. Okay, so as you can see, this is a very, very oversized top, and I'm gonna now extend it. I want it to be longer, so I get my edit pattern tool and I click on the sides I want to move further down, and I can move them straight down like this. And then I'll have to simulate in between, and if I want it much longer I would have to simulate in between again. I keep shift down. Like that, I can get a dress, and I can check now and also see that it's drooping too much for this length here, so I would have to change the length. You see it's swaying up here, which it shouldn't be doing. So if I take the point at the front just ever so slightly up, it's going to be straight, and then towards the back I need to do somewhat a higher one here. And what I also can do is I can move the sleeve again, and these are the things when you do a lot of development and changes, you will have to go over it again to see if anything is not the way it should be. But we're going to walk pattern now, so I'm going to click on this point corresponding with this and make it follow down, and this, as you can see, it really is evident that it's swaying up and down. So we need to change this, and we can change it either by changing the front and the back, or by giving it a bit more on the length on the front, no, on the side, sorry. Just going to say thank you to that. So now I'm going to move my edit curvature just ever so smaller curve than we had here before. the same on the front. There, versus slightly less. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do now, I would like to turn this into a top. I'm going to introduce some elastic band and also talk a little bit about how we can do with colors and fabrics and so on. So that will be the next bit.